Hello everyone, welcome to htcmuseum.com. This is our YouTube channel. My name's Andrew. In today's video, I'm going to take you through the process of S-offing the phone and converting it from the current Canadian Wind Mobile firmware that this particular unit shipped with. And we're going to change it over to the unbranded firmware, and that's it. That's what we're doing today. It's going to be a fun one. Might be a little bit of a long one, so bear with me. Let's get going. Alright, before we get started, the most important step here, make sure we have the USB debugging on. To do this, go to Settings, Applications, Development, and USB debugging. Once that's done, we can hook it up to the computer and get going. Alright, now that we have debugging on, we're going to make sure that it stays in charge only, and we can get going with the rest of it. Alright, so now that the phone's connected to the computer, we can go ahead, open up a command window, verify, of course, that the device is connected. Once we're sure of that, we'll go ahead, reboot into the bootloader. I'll boot into the bootloader here in just a second. Alright, see we're in. Now what we want to do is verify that it's connected via fastboot. You see we're good here, so then we can come on over to HTC Dev. We can go unlock bootloader, and we will pick the Amaze 4G, which is very conveniently at the top of the spot, which means it's the best phone, obviously. Alright, we'll accept all of these warnings. We already know what we're going to do, so no need to worry. And if you don't know what you're doing, consult a professional, because I am a professional, but not a consultant. Or maybe I am. Okay, now that I'm done cracking terrible jokes, first thing we're going to do is take this, and then you want to copy and paste this command with your phone connected to the fastboot into your command window. And what it's going to do is it's going to bring up this identifier token. You want to right-click Mark, and that'll copy paste it. So then what we can do is come down to the bottom here after it shows you all the instructions. We already know what we're doing, kinda, so we're just speed running this a bit, but still showing the process. Obviously, I suggest if you're doing this yourself that you read everything thoroughly. So now that that's done, we're going to go grab our unlock key, which will be in our Gmail, which, that's where I have it sent. Go ahead, download it, and then you want to make sure you put it in the folder with your ADB. In this case, I have the ADB installed to the home directory or the hard drive. Okay, so we can go and come back here. No, we should go to the email. We should look at the email. So it says click here to continue the unlocking process. So it explains that you got the binary. Now you want to copy and paste this command. That's the droid we're looking for. Well, actually the droid I'm looking for is over on the table, connected. Anyways, you can go ahead, paste this. Once you've done that, you're going to get this message up on the screen, basically warning you that, it's unlocking the bootloader, it's going to factory reset it. They don't, guarantee the software that you install, blah, 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 blah. Pretty standard stuff. You may have seen this before, you may not, but if you haven't, I'll hold it right here and you can freeze frame it and you can read all that. Otherwise, press the power button and keep on trucking. Yeah, this Amaze power button's a little sensitive, so it takes a couple tries, but got it. So now what I'm just going to do, factory reset. So I will go ahead, get it set up, and I'll come back when it's done. All right, now that we're back on the home screen, we can keep going with the next step, which is we want to re-enable that debugging like we did before. Since obviously at factory reset it, that kind of went away. So we want to allow it, and then we're going to temp root the phone. So I've actually already gone ahead. I have this file on my computer already. All the links are here. They may be dead. You may be able to get them. I was able to get it through the Wayback Machine. Anyways, that aside, we want to go use these commands on the phone. The first thing though is to make sure that we have booted into recovery at least once. So we're gonna go devices. Actually, let's just boot into bootloader. Okay, it doesn't actually tell you this, but I've used Taco root in the past, so I remember these steps a little bit. Maybe I did some prep for this video. You'll never know. So what we want to do is let's go into bootloader, and then we'll go into recovery, and it'll boot into recovery. Now once you're in recovery, obviously to get out of it, in case you don't know, not obviously, you have to hold the volume up and down, and you sort of kind of mash everything together, and with a bit of persistence, you'll be greeted with this, and you can reboot back into the system. And now we can move forward with our exploit once it reboots. Alright, so we are rebooted and ready to move forward. So the first thing you're going to want to do is get yourself these commands. Now, this first command is actually wrong because, as you can see here, these are .sh, this is .bin. So all we have to do when we copy paste it is come over here, make it .sh, and you'll see it pushed successfully. And then we come here, we do the next one. Alright, and then the final one. And this is where the real fun begins. So now you're going to see this setup, root, undo. For this, we could have actually just used these commands to boot into recovery, but then we'd have to retype this all over again, and what fun would that be? So what we're going to do here is we're going to do setup, because obviously we want to set the temp root up. So we can do that. It'll boot into recovery just to make sure everything's good to go. Maybe I didn't need to do this step, but here we are. All right, so we got first, second, third, and now reboot. So then once this reboots, we can continue with rooting. So what we're gonna do, get a little ahead of ourselves, go ahead and type that root in. And then once the phone reboots, it'll be ready to go. Oh, well, we were a little too quick on that. All right. I could just cut this part out, but I'm not going to. Or maybe I will. Maybe I won't. All right. So we're gonna go root, and it's gonna reboot into root. So now we'll have ADB shell, and we can S off the phone. Well, I sounded real enthusiastic about that. Yeah, we can S off the phone. Once this is done, it'll only take a couple seconds. All right, we are rebooted. Now to verify that we can proceed with Control Bear, go ADB devices, make sure we're connected, ADB shell. Now if you see this pound sign here, that means we are good to go and we can proceed. So what I'm going to do now is come over here to where I've compiled these files, and then, and this is kind of critical, you actually want to disconnect the phone because you need to pull the back cover off. So let's pull that back cover off. And you want to put, and in order for the wire trick, for those of you who don't know, I'll explain it real fast. Wire trick, you take a piece of wire. In my instance, I'm using this homemade paperclip. Take this with a pin here, and you sort of tap repeatedly on the SD card reader. In order for this to work, you actually need an SD card in the reader, I believe. Now, make sure it's not one that you care about because it will get corrupted in this process. In this particular one, I don't really care about it, so I'm sacrificing it for the sake of this root and this YouTube video. If you like sacrificing SD cards, give this video a thumbs up. Just kidding, don't do that. It's real cringy. Give it a thumbs up if you like the video. Duh. Anyways, what we want to do now is plug the phone back in. Okay, which way is the USB port? Right here. Alright, now that we are plugged back in, one thing to keep in mind is the phone will be a little unstable until you've S-offed it with the temp root. So we will open Control Bear. It's going to fire up. Actually, I should have moved the camera, but oh well. Just wait for her to start up. Maybe I should disconnect it and plug it back in. Okay, let's just go ahead and relaunch it after we plug the phone back in. Give it another go. Okay, starting up. All right, so now it's gonna give us all this warning. 5 seconds. All right, and then I'm going to, once it says start the wire trick, do wire trick now. I will switch over to the camera view so you can see this process. Okay, waiting device. It's rebooting. All right. Actually, I think I could just... Alright, it's telling us to do the wire trick now. So, I'll just tilt this. Sorry, the keyboard's a little dirty here, but no matter. So what we want to do is we will take the paper clip and we will put it from the outer pin here. Oh, I think I'll do it the other way. That's how this is made. All right, and then we'll simply tap on the SD card, and I think we may have gotten it on the first try. Okay, we're showing waiting device. So I will pivot it back up to the computer screen. All right, sorry about all that fun stuff. All right, looks like it worked, which is great. Oh, it failed. Okay, we have to try it again. So it's gonna find that it already tried it before. All right, it's gonna tell us to do the wire trick now. So we will do the wire trick. Let's get this into position. And we should be good to go. Like I said, pin in, tap. Hold second, tap. Oh, did it work? It may have. Again, it's all timing based, so it can take a second. Sometimes you get it quick, sometimes you don't. Alright, looks like we got it on the second try. Maybe we did. It seems to have succeeded. We will know once it prompts us for the modified hboot. Alright, let's see what our results are. Alright, success. It'll ask if we want to install the modified hboot. In this case, we're going to pick yes, because we need it to actually change the firmware. The model ID cannot be switched without the engineering hboot that we're going to be flashing here. So we're going to go ahead, press yes. It'll install that. Sorry about a little bit of noise here and there, but anyways, it's going to install it. It'll flash it. It's flashing it right now. See that green bar? Means we're doing stuff. Alright. Now it wants us to exit out. As you can see, what usually said locked or unlocked or relocked, depending, now says WAP not bear, which is control bear, same difference. Okay, so I will put the phone back together, format the SD card, and I'll be right back. Alright, now to effectively flash the engineering hboot, our model ID and SID number has to match this that way. Everything goes off the best we can. The best it can, sorry. So we'll go fast boot devices. And we're gonna go fast boot get var all. And you'll see that the model ID is actually the same. But we have to go here and copy paste the SID number. So what we're gonna do is fast boot OEM CID. We'll paste her. That's good to go. Okay. Now we should be able to eject that SD card once we have the file on there, which we do not. So let's go ahead, drag and drop it. So now the file's on there with all the right information. We will go ahead and eject it. Okay, safe to remove. Simply put it back in the phone properly. And then go into bootloader. And then it'll say, do you want to start update? Obviously we do, so let's find that volume up button. It'll update the hboot, and we're good to go. So to reboot into system, and we can keep going. So there was a brief hitch in the system where I actually tried to change the CID of the phone, but even with S off, it still didn't like that. So I gave it the CID of the engineering hboot itself. So we can just go ahead. It's hard to do this stuff while staring at a phone camera. Anyways. It'll reboot and we can continue on. So let's pull back this. So the next bit in this step is going to be, now that we are S off, we have to change the model ID and the SID number to this HTC Asia here. So we will plug our phone in. And open up a CMD. Nope, ADB devices, ADB reboot bootloader. Alright, now that we're back in the bootloader, the next step I've already gotten these numbers for reference, so we'll go ahead and write that. And then actually for this, make sure we get this right. And the model ID is actually the same as this, instead of this last one here being a 0. So to simplify the process, we'll simply copy paste and then write MID. Okay, that's good to go. And then once we reboot into the bootloader, we will verify that that processed as well. Actually, that wasn't what we're supposed to do. We actually want to get rid of that one. Yep. Try it again. Anyways, it's just part of the fun. Alright. And then we'll do the get var all. And you'll see that my model ID and my SID number changes stuck. So what we want to do in the final bit here, we'll reboot back into the main software, because the next step, and almost the final step in this video, believe it or not, is flashing that RUU we have saved right here. So this is the Wind Mobile gingerbread based splash screen / boot animation they've chosen to use. Alright, charge only is just fine for this operation. And while that's working, you can go ahead and open up the RUU. Just had to sign the camera a bit. Now, sometimes they don't play nice unless you disconnect the phone, which is exactly what happened there. So we'll reconnect it. And actually we want to go in, I believe we have to turn the debugging off. Actually, let's just try it. Let's see what happens. I don't recall entirely. You would think me, the guy making this video, would know, but I have forgotten. So let's see if it disagrees with my ways or not. It'll say update. Alright, and it shows us the version we're on right now to the version we're headed. So we're actually downgrading, but going to a clean firmware with no modified hboot or anything like that. And it's going to do its process. As long as it feels that everything checks out, it'll reboot it. I know this process takes a minute, so obviously I'm not going to make you guys sit through all this, unless you want to. In which case, let me know if I should do this next time, because I'll be making more of these videos as I get more classic HTC devices in here at HTC Museum. Once we are sure we're good to go, I will go ahead and sort of skip to the end. So it's going to be a little bit in real time, but when you guys are watching this, it's going to be like it never happened. Alright, so it's updating everything now. We can let the phone do its thing, and I will see you guys in just a second. Alright, so let's just run through the setup real quick. Obviously, this is a Asian firmware. That's why you saw those languages. If you watched me, definitely not skip over it real fast. We won't even bother setting up Wi-Fi because, well, we're just not going to. We should, but, okay, let's just pick our time zone. We are in, not that. We are in New York. Well, we're not technically in New York, but that's the time zone we're in. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Anyways, finish that up. What I'm going to do here is check our firmware version. and we are on 2.3.4 Sense 3, and the 1.60703, and if we ignore this, it matches exactly with these numbers here, which means great job. Alright, and in our final step, we'll come back, we will enable USB debugging, and we're about to be S on. So let's go ADB devices. Good to go. We'll do ADB bootloader. You'd think after staring at the screen for an hour or so that I could memorize these commands and type them a little better, but apparently not. So here we are. This is what you're stuck with, folks. HTCmuseum.com's fate rests in me not being able to type commands in front of a camera screen. So we are S off right now, locked bootloader. We're the correct hboot and everything. So what we'll do is we'll write fastboot OEM, write secure flag 3, and with a touch of a key, we will be S on the moment we reboot. So we're going to do fastboot, reboot, bootloader. And we are S on. Thanks for watching the video. I really appreciate it. Fastboot, ew, exactly. All this time spent, and now we have effectively what is a generic phone. This is a unlocked international variant for anyone who's wondering. This whole process was a ruse created by the internet. That's what it is. I'm just kidding. There's that wonderful chime. I hope you enjoyed my terrible jokes that did not fit into the video at all. And once we are booted, we can say we're booted. Well, it has to load first. But that's it. That's the video, folks. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking around. Be sure to check us out, HTC Museum YouTube, in case for some reason somebody's posted this video elsewhere, or you're watching it on a platform that's not YouTube, but has linked to this video, again, for some reason. That's it. I hope you enjoyed. I'm just kidding. For some reason, it's a great video, isn't it? It's the best video. Anyways, before I keep talking, I'm going to cut this short. You probably won't even hear this, but thanks for watching. Have a great night. Do your thing. Bump your computer screen with your HTC phone. Anyways, cheers.